Hi, I'm Nick Solomon with JabsnGrabs.com, and I'm sitting here today with legendary mixed martial artist and history maker Dan Henderson, the only man in history to ever hold 2 titles in 2 different weight classes simultaneously. Dan is the welterweight champion of Pride Fighting Championships, which means he holds the belt at 185 pounds, and he also is the champion at 205 pounds, which is the middleweight division in Pride. Normally that's the UFC light heavyweight division, but since we're dealing with Pride fighting right now, that's the middleweight.
Yep.
So Dan, how do you feel?
No, I feel great. It's nice and relaxing right now that it's over. You know, and it worked out the way I trained for it and the way I planned for it in my head. But you know, it's not that uncommon, but it's rare that it happens exactly the way you want it. So it's nice.
And Dan also has the distinction of being only the 2nd man in history to ever hold the Pride middleweight title. First being Wanderlei Silva, who held it for 6 years. When Wanderlei won that title, he actually defeated you by unanimous decision. So it's got to really feel good for you knowing that you kind of went there, you fought the guy who you fought. It was a rematch, took you 6 years to get it, but you got it, and now you beat the person who stood in your way before for that title.
Yeah, I mean, I did, you know, for the last 6 years, I haven't been thinking about a rematch with Wanderlei Silva. You know, occasionally it creeps into my head that, you know, it'd be nice to fight him, but more for a chance to win his belt rather than to redeem my loss. You know, so it's nice that I was able to do both.
Yeah.
You know, you still had the belt, so I was able to get the belt and kind of bench a little bit, but you know, it's just nice that it worked out that way.
Yeah, I remember the last time the first time I met you, we were talking, and I remember that was prior to you winning the welterweight title. It was a big thing because you went in there and you always told me you wanted to get a title because of the fact that you went out there and you were the UFC 17 tournament winner for the middleweight division.
Yeah.
Didn't give you a belt then, and then there was the rings tournament that you went in, which was open weight, and you're fighting guys much heavier than you, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like still no title at that. And then now, you went through the Grand Prix. It seems like you always had to go through like leaps and bounds on all these obstacles, tournaments, multiple fights in one night to get what you wanted. Now you've got it. It's like you're the welterweight champion, Grand Prix winner, middleweight champion. You did kind of allude to something though when you won the title. The recent one, 205. You did allude to maybe the idea of a 3rd title.
Well, I think it's a question in a lot of people's heads. How I do up against Fedor. You know, it's creeped into my head. How would I do against him as well? So you never know. That could happen. I think that's completely right up Pride's alley as far as those type of matchups.
Sure.
You know, it puts a question in a lot of people's heads. How would they? We're pretty much real similar in styles. He's just 30 pounds lighter. So, you know, we'll see. It could happen. It's not up to me really. It's completely up to Pride. If they want me to do that, I'll welcome that challenge.
Sure. But for you personally, do you like the idea of this?
Sure.
Really think about it, you'd say something you're like,
you know if there's one guy in the world that I would question wanting to fight him, it would probably be Fedor. He's just an animal.
Yeah.
So that would be the only guy in the world that I would have questioned. You know, the more I think about it, the more I would welcome that challenge.